Action. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Unmixed and Unmastered episode 13. And we're joined here today with with Tako, aka Renee, the host for this episode.
Well,
And we
co-host, I want to leave it up to you.
well, I didn't really do much, so and
Whatever.
we have a new guest, um, Uzi, and I'm
Hi.
delighted with your choice. You chose "Hi, How Are You" by Daniel Johnston. And can you like introduce yourself and maybe uh, say why you picked it?
Me?
Yeah, yeah.
So hi, I'm Uzi, and I chose "Hi, How Are You" by Daniel Johnston because I honestly think it's probably one of the best albums ever made. Also, it's a very interesting album given the background behind Daniel Johnston and his works.
Mm.
Uh, I resonate a lot with his stuff. I, as an inspiring artist, you know. It's
Hmm.
probably one of the first songs I learned to play on guitar was True Love Will Find You in the End.
Oh yeah. Okay. I didn't really know who Daniel Johnston was up until this episode was planned, and I was playing it for my dad, and we played the album, and then we played that song that you were talking about. So yeah, he really likes it. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
the original version on Retired Boxer is also pretty fire.
Mhm. All right, yeah. Let's maybe introduce the artist in question, Daniel Johnston. Can someone introduce them for those who don't know?
Uzi, feel free to do it unless you want me to do it. I think I can do it. So who was Daniel Johnston? Of course, with this being a podcast about music, he was a singer, a musician, and an artist. He's regarded as a significant figure within the outsider scene of music. He's well known for his lo-fi productions and his rather childlike persona.
Mm.
Some of his most notable works, of course, include "Hi, How Are You?" I think another one would be 1990.
Mm-hmm.
And his last album, I think, was "Beam Me Up," which was released, I think, in late 2000s. I may be wrong. And I think the reason why his music he's so well known is because his music people kind of end up relating to his stuff and how it deals with him as a mental health
Mm-hmm.
individual.
Yeah, and so what is like outsider music? That I've heard that term around, but I actually really don't know what it means.
So outside of music is as I think I saw from a comment on Alpha Media. Think of indie music, but actually indie music. Like we
Okay,
have,
I saw that comment on yeah, I watched that video today.
yeah, think of a bunch of different musicians who kind of do something completely different from what is considered pop or mainstream at the time, and them being genuinely for independent. Think of something like The Residents, and of course Daniel Johnston, him being a prominent figure within that scene.
Mm.
I'd say another good example would also probably be Tiny Tim. If you know the Tiptoe Through the Tulips cover that he did, or the what was it, Walking in the Sunlight, Living in the Moonlight, that one too.
SpongeBob.
Some of his earlier stuff kind of gets counted as outsider music, especially with how simplistic his ukulele playing was back in the late 60s when he first started. You could sort of see why. Not to mention, he kind of diverged later on into his musical career. He ended up experimenting quite a bit after his whole country folk era kind of subsided. He ended up doing a jam band album at some point. So that's kind of
Mm.
sometimes outsider music can get a little bit crazy.
So it's
In
like
in
it covers a wide spectrum of stuff.
Yeah, it's a super wide spectrum of music. It
Yeah.
can
Okay.
mostly on the accessible end somewhat.
Yeah, I'm reading through like the artists. Like I know who Jandek is. That's kind of I think they're kind of similar because they're like home recording, like lo-fi type of stuff. That's also
Hmm.
like a I guess
I
a
have not checked the music.
Sorry, what's that? Say it one more time.
I have not checked out Jandrick.
Yeah,
I
Jandak.
might after this episode.
Yeah,
I don't.
he's kind of like he kind of is like Daniel Johnston, like similar in a way. Yeah, and yeah,
Back
oh sorry, go ahead.
sorry, but I was gonna mention because just earlier I was listening to Car Seat Headrest's Twin Fantasy Mirror to Mirror, the original 2011 lo-fi recording, and there are definitely
Ooh, that
some
one's hard to listen
parallels
to.
between what Will Toledo was doing and what some of these outsider musicians were also doing. I mean, he had basic. This was like his fourth album or sixth album, but
Six.
He
most of his
released a
stuff at
lot.
the time was like lo-fi home recordings,
Mm,
kind of makeshift DIY sort of thing. So in a way, he could be classified as outsider music before Car Seat Headrest kind of got into
Before
the big.
Matador.
yeah. What about the microphones? What do you guys think about that? Is that because that also it feels like kind of outsider music in a way,
I
like
could, I could
That's an
say.
interesting take.
yeah.
It makes sense to consider Will Toledo as Phil Elverum. I mean, as like an outsider musician.
Mm, yeah.
I mean, I can definitely see why with some of Elverum's lyrics. Like, there's not like a proper structure. It's sort of like a stream of consciousness sort of thing when it comes to the vocal delivery, but it's not really stream of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like he's just coming up with whatever's going off the top of his head. Whenever I listen to the Glow Part 2, that's what I feel like I'm hearing. And when I listen to A Crow Looked at Me by Mount Erie, which is also another alias of his, it feels
Mm-hmm.
like he's just coming up with whatever words he could muster after his wife died of cancer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like Phil Abrams like early stuff, like before the Glow Part Two was like really like experimental, kind of like it though like the microphones is about like his love for like home recording and like just like audio, just the way like stereo sounds and like there's a drum here and then like played back looping like that's sort of stuff. So yeah, that's why I made the
Yeah.
connection. Yeah. Do you have anything else to say? Yeah, you guys want to just play a track to introduce what we're talking about?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, this is the intro album. This is the intro to the album. This is
And
perfect.
you chose this, Uzi.
Yeah, I
And
chose it because I thought it'd be a good way to start us off talking about the album, starting with the intro. I think it perfectly sums up what you should expect from this album.
mm,
Really,
yeah, I really like the
just
lyrics in
some
this. Yeah, it's good.
just some poor soul.
All right, you guys want to play it?
yeah. Let's
Let's.
kick it.
Hi.
How are you? Okay.
Every morning he got up, dreading each moment he had to be awake. He'd look at the floor and scribble on gum wrappers. He never found a better way to joke around. The clock would tick and time went slow, and there wasn't anywhere he wouldn't go to avoid having to see anyone. He'd sit in a chair, he'd lean against a wall. It just didn't seem to matter much at all. But late at night, he had a savior in his sleep, in his dreams. She came to him and she said, poor you, poor you. No one understands you, poor you, poor you. And every word that everyone would say got mumbled up in his head like mumble jumble, and everywhere he went, it seemed everyone was saying to him, blah, blah, blah. But late at night, he had a mistress in his dreams, in his sleep, and she would say, poor you, poor you. No one understands you, poor you, poor you. This story, though not well told, is not that old. It's not that funny, it's not that great, but I know it to be true, because late at night I have an angel in my dreams, in my sleep, and as she runs her fingers through my hair, as I lay on her lap, and she says, for you, no one understands.
All right. What do we have to say about that track?
For me, it's not my personal favorite on the album because it's just Johnston's voice, and I usually like a little bit more accompaniment. Not to say that I don't hate the track, but believe that there are way better songs on this album than this first track for you. Still kind of catchy though. I was humming along to it.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, Uzi?
Honestly, for what the album is, and who Daniel Johnston is I think it perfectly sums up what you should expect from this kind of what music you should expect from this kind of guy. It's so like I guess dissonant would be how I describe it. It's so eerie, so melancholic, so like depressing. Like it's such a like I heard it for the first time and I was like moved. Like I've never heard anything quite. I don't think I'll ever hear something like this again, other than from his earlier works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really like it. I think it's a good opener. It kind of like shows like, his like mental well being. Like people really don't care about like him when they see like him, they like don't really care. They just say like, oh, poor you, and they don't really think about it in the way like, yeah. So I think really shows that who he kind of is and like what he's like struggling with, I guess.
Yeah, it feels like he believes, and I believe it, that people were basically treating him with too much pity when
Mm,
he himself is his own person and he is able to do things like us other people. So in a way, he's just trying to sort of make a stand for himself as a guy with bipolar disorder. That he is able to do these sorts of things. That people have pity for him that he cannot. That they believe he cannot be able to do.
mm.
Sounds strange, but
You
I
know,
think you get the point.
Yeah, I get the point.
you
Yeah.
know that reminds me of the closing track on this one. No more pushing Joe around. I think that's what it's called.
Yes, that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's
Guitar
see.
yourself.
And regarding this track itself, I'd say that this is it's super intimate. It tells you that this album is going to be as intimate as possible. It sounds
Mm-hmm.
like a voice message that was left on like not on a cell phone, on a telephone, because that's a way better analogy for the time that this was recorded. It feels intimate. It sounds like he's speaking directly to you as if he was talking to you. That's how I feel. And that's what makes this album so good. The fact that he sounds like he's your companion and he's singing to you his songs. He's playing them for you. That's what makes me just like this album overall. He feels friendly in a way.
Yeah, kind of
That's
like
what makes it like
inviting. Yeah.
that's what makes, like Johnson's music in general like it's so raw. I think I remember reading someone on YouTube said this. And they said like his music is so like it's so raw because like he's not afraid of it not being perfect. Like you hear "True Love Will Find You" in the end. Like there's so many like mistakes as he's playing the guitar. Like you can hear it squeaking. You can hear it like I can't remember what it's called. Vibrating. You can hear the guitar like vibrating or something. And like
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't really ruin the moment. It like adds on to it. It adds on to the listening experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what do you guys think about because it like also in the title it says the unfinished album. Do you guys know that would why he
I think,
decided?
Yeah, because
yeah. Go on ahead, Uzi.
I mean it was unfinished, but like I think I remember reading somewhere that I think his mental health kind of got in the way of him like being able to finish the album. I think Wikipedia doesn't really explain why it's left unfinished. I think
Mm.
I think he had originally recorded more tracks for the album. That part I remember, but they just could not be able to fit, if I remember correctly. That and also his bipolar disorder did have something to do with that. Not to mention there was some stuff happening personally, like what you're seeing here. He got evicted from his brother's home over in Texas. So that was a wrench in his plans, if you will, for recording this album. Not to mention, he did have to work pizza delivery to earn some bread, so that also left him less time to record. And again, it's another home recording, which this one is it's in his sister's home here.
Mm.
Originally, he had recorded his first couple of tapes, like "Songs of Pain" and "Don't Be Scared," over in his parents' house in the basement. But then he moved to his brother's home after he left his parents' house, and then after this whole eviction thing is when he went to his sister's house and recorded this tape in particular.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, and he talks about well, not like directly in like about his his experience like as a pizza delivery driver in the song Business Monkey, kind of like
Yes,
anger towards like, you know, maybe the people
the
that he's,
management.
yeah, the management, and sort of, yeah, so he was all over the place. That's like the context, yeah, of this
Mhm.
tape. Do you guys want to play another track, or do we want to talk about some more stuff? We can like go to it after.
I think I put Big Business Monkey somewhere after this, so I think we could revert back to that once we get there. But Uzi, I think, submitted this track in particular, and I want to try getting into the jazz aspect of this album.
Mm. All right, you guys want to play it?
Let's halfway.
All right, let's play.
There ain't no color in the sky anymore. And I don't feel much like singing. Can't see what for. And there ain't no comfort in this life anymore. All that I can see that's ahead of me looks like such a chore. Maybe something will happen to make it all better. Better. Maybe something will come along and make me happy. Happy. There ain't no fun in living anymore. And I don't feel much like living. Can't see what for. There ain't no life left in me. I feel a bit funny, like a go-oh-oh, with nowhere to go-oh. My hope has gone and left me a desperate man. There's no spunk left in me. I feel so hollow in me, so empty, so empty, so empty, so empty. A big chunk of what I was has gone and left me a desperate man. Now I'm a desperate man.
Yeah. So okay, Taka, you wanted to point out like the jazz sampling. So what do we think about it?
Yeah, so I actually just checked the Wikipedia page because I remember there was a particular song that was used there. It's called "Desperate Man," no, not "Desperate Man," "Desperate Dan" by Johnny Dankworth, and Johnston originally had an album from him called "England's Ambassador to Jazz," and this track in particular, especially since it had his name, resonated very heavily with him. So that's why he figured he should sing over it, henceforth leading to Desperate Man Blues as we just heard here.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, specifically about the sample. I love the samples, especially on and this one and Keep Punching Joe is the one with the jazz sample.
Yes, Keep Punching Joe's probably
Yeah,
one of my favorites on here.
yeah, I think I don't know. It's like he picked like really like good ones, and it doesn't feel like out of place or like it just feels like you know he gets like the vibe like correct to say yeah.
Yes, with this one, he basically exudes the aspects of sorrow that he felt,
Mm.
being mistreated as somebody with bipolar disorder. But in Keep Punching Joe, which I think I put in this presentation, I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah,
sure.
yeah, I put it, or you put it probably. I don't know.
Oh, okay, a good thing I didn't forget. But as I was saying, Keep Punching Joe is more. It's more uplifting. It's a motivational
Yeah.
song of sorts. It's basically him keeping himself together, if you will. Okay, I'm not pun not intended. Because there's another the other song, Keep Yourself Together, but it's more of him just being triumphant, being the person that he is, and how he can be himself. That's what I see. He has pride in being Daniel
Mm.
Johnston.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
To add up, to add on to the whole like keep punching Joe with I think it's just really interesting seeing him be like so triumphant and yet he's saying keep punching Joe. It's like yeah, keep punching him. You can keep punching Joe, but he's gonna get up and he'll keep going because he does not because he won't stand for that anymore,
Mm.
or he's not gonna let face him anymore.
I think that might be. I think Joe is probably a metaphor for his own bipolar disorder and how he's trying to handle it in a way. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. The
I I think it's a metaphor for something regarding his bipolar disorder.
yeah yeah that
Maybe
was.
just a self insert.
Wait, sorry, say that again.
Maybe Joe's just a self insert. Something like there's like, hey Joe, keep pushing Joe around, and then there's no more. No, keep punching Joe, and then there's no more pushing Joe around. It's like Daniel Johnston kind of just telling himself like, don't be scared, and just like some. The next one is like he's just telling him to keep going, and the next one is him finally just saying, I've had enough of this.
Mm. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I can see that too.
Yeah, I think. Oh, here, and then we also we
Oh,
have Keep Punching Joe, or yeah.
yeah, I figured it fit very well alongside Desperate Man Blues. Let's kick it.
Yep, let's play it. All right, yeah, thinking now. Okay, we gotta put some more songs in here.
Ooh.
Okay, we'll think about that later.
Ladies and gentlemen, he headed out west looking for the best, and he's here tonight. He says he's got a lot to get off his chest. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, none other than Daniel D. Johnston. Thank you. Thank you very much for that lovely introduction. Thank you very much. A one, a two, a one, a two. Listen, folks, I gotta tell you now. I've been singing the blues and walking the cow. That tell you my soul's like wanting water, hot or cold, now one or the other. I guess I lean towards the excessive, but that's just the way it is when you're a manic depressive. An angel appeared to me and told me if you want love, you gotta give. Let me tell you now, it's been a long, hard summer, and I feel every bit more dumber. Don't know where it is I'm gonna go. Heard someone say, keep punching Joe. Keep punching Joe. Keep punching Joe. Keep punching, dial P for pest control. Now let me tell you about my family. You know, they've been right there beside me. Through all this time that I've been low, they've been punching Joe. They keep punching Joe. Kick him right in the face. They keep punching Joe. Kick him when he's down. They keep punching Joe. Kick him when he's low. I got some things to get off my chest. Well, I got some things to get off my chest. Yes, I've got some things to get off my chest. How am I supposed to give love if I ain't never got love? And what the heck am I punching for? And how am I to look God in the face when I feel so much disgrace? Now that's better off my chest than out of my mind. Keep punching Joe.
Damn. Yeah.
That finale at the end has probably
Yeah.
got to be one of the greatest song endings I have ever heard.
I think I chose this one in the chat, and it was either gonna be this one or Business of Monkey, or whatever you call it. Yeah, that's what it's called, right?
Big
Yeah.
business monkey.
Big.
I also chose Big Business Monkey. That I feel also exudes the folk side of this album.
Yeah, cause I like this one because I just love the sample. Just it's really well used, and I would have picked like Business Monkey for the lyrics. That's probably my favorite like lyrics out of the entire project. But yeah, really good song, and yeah, that's
In
probably
any case, oh, sorry.
yeah, that's
'Cause I
probably
wanna-
the. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I want to bring up that photo of Kurt Cobain if you don't mind, because
Yeah.
that's basically what gave him the popularity right there. The fact that he was wearing that same sort of shirt that me and Uzi are wearing.
Mm.
Basically is the whole reason why he got so big in the first place. Let me actually flex the whole thing. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. I might have to get one of those. It's sick. It's cool.
Oh, they're like $27 on his website if you want to get the long sleeve.
Okay.
Like,
I think mine was 15.
Yeah. Wait.
tax and shit.
What's the website? Maybe I can link it for the people watching.
It's just his official website.
It's called Hi, How Are You?
Okay. Yeah.
So
yeah,
yeah,
for people watching, or listening, go buy it if you love this album. Yeah.
and of course there are shirts of his other tapes as well if you're interested. It's a pretty fire retired boxer one that I saw on there.
Might get that one.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's like that Hi, How Are You shirt, but just with the retired boxer cover art. It still looks fun.
Okay. Yeah, I might have to check it out. Yeah, I'll definitely. Yeah, I'll consider the Hi, How Are You album.
I'm
Sure.
always a sucker for merch, anyways. So
That's true. You showed me that one website. Sick. I have to check it out more. But I
yeah,
think
the Night Channel one.
yeah, I think I might get that tortoise one.
Yeah, you gotta get it in white. That's the best one. The best.
True.
Can you get the retired boxer in black in this city? Just gonna have a black shirt.
Okay, that would actually be a good idea.
I already have a white shirt. Gotta get a black one.
True, true. I got too many black shirts though here, so gotta keep finding white ones.
Yeah. And
But
so, yeah, speaking of this like picture, this was. Do you guys know what album this would have been like when this picture happened? Like, what album came out at that
this
time?
came 2 years after 1990, which was basically first full blown studio project.
Yeah, I listened to some of the songs. They're definitely way more like developed on that one.
Yes, and I'd say if say his tapes didn't exist in any shape or form whatsoever, they'd still be equally as emotional just for how clear they sound. It doesn't have the intimacy as the tapes, but it's it gets a little bit echoey with his vocals there, and that's a bit dreamy, if you will. I guess if some of you dream pop fans can relate to that emotional aspect that the genre has on you, um okay, sorry, my mom just suddenly came into my room, so
It's all
hit
good.
that awkward pause. But as I was saying, if you enjoy those sort of echoey, ambient-esque aspects of dream pop in a way, that reverb effect, that's what's happening with Daniel Johnston's vocals on 1990. And his guitars also get a little bit of the reverb treatment too, so kind of echoey folk music what he's doing on there.
All right,
So
yeah.
It's interesting
yeah.
you bring up folk music because like I have a hard time trying to decipher what kind of genre this album is. I mean, like it's got a bit of blues, it's got like a tiny bit of jazz, it's got a bit of folk as well. But like part of me thinks this is like primarily an experimental album, even though I don't know if that's a fair kind of. I don't think it's fair to call this album experimental given like the context behind it is.
It. I think like I definitely agree. It primarily is like a folk album, but there's like I don't know. It's just like a lot. I think it's like people call it avant-garde. Is that correct to say? I've seen people
Yeah.
describe it
Well,
as that.
that's basically synonymous with experimental, so I guess that
Yeah.
works. Yeah. I'd say, given Daniel Johnston's general tenure as being a folk artist, I've generally called it an indie folk album in the past. So,
Indie folk.
so
Yeah, that could work.
yeah, in a way, yes.
Advent folk. How about Advent folk?
Avant folk, I've also seen it being called that too.
Or
But
or
I'd say
wait, what about freak folk? Like kind of like Animal Collective sung tones.
freak folk.
Yeah.
Okay, not on
Because
freak as in the meme aspect of it, but
Yeah, yeah.
it doesn't feel psychedelic. It's not like Comus.
I don't know who
That's
Chrome
the
is. I yeah, maybe I don't know. It's not really like because when I think of Freak Flag, I think of like Sung Tongs by Animal Collective. Not yeah, like now that thinking about it, not really. Kind of. It's like
yeah. It's not. Usually, freak folk has to have some sort of psychedelic edge to it, and Daniel Johnston is nowhere near psychedelic.
I'm just throwing out. Yeah. Okay.
But
I
yeah,
had no idea what's
Hmm?
prior to this.
What's up? Say it
I had
again.
no idea where free folk was prior to this.
Oh yeah, yeah. Psychedelic, like kind of like really.
but with a more experimental edge to it. So think krautrock, but put into folk form.
I have to
That
check that out later.
yeah.
Okay,
Check out Sung
what?
Tongs by Animal Collective. Like I just said, yeah.
I think I might do a discog run of Animal Collective when I can, but not right now.
I need to finish the discography. There's a lot of I need to look into the early stuff.
I mean, I could definitely see some comparisons between Spirit They've Vanished, Spirit They've Gone, because that one felt kind of folky to me. It felt super folky, even though it's been quite a bit since I listened to it. It's got that folk aspect, and that I could remember. And I think that you could tie that into Daniel Johnston, Hi How, in a way.
Yeah, I haven't listened to it, so yeah, I wouldn't know. But people suggest like the person that we did Strawberry Jam with suggested that one that I should listen to. So yeah, I'll definitely check that one out.
Right.
Yeah, and so yeah, like obviously like with Kurt Cobain wearing a Daniel Johnston t-shirt, there's definitely some influence. Like, what do you guys? Why does Daniel Johnston resonate with like many like artists? Like Kathy McCarthy like said that he was the only genius that I've ever met in her entire life, something like that. And yeah, so like, what do you guys think about?
Well, I think Johnston basically, with how he recorded his tapes, I feel like he influenced musicians to just have more independence with their musical careers. And that's why you see a lot of lo-fi indie music happening closer to today. So it's a sort of a wave that he kind of
Yeah,
flashed, if
I
you will.
okay, yeah, cause I was talking in the chat like about like this like Tumblr like movement that was happening where it was like it was basically just like Daniel Johnston like posts like Daniel Johnston like stuff like it it's like really like you can tell it's like really influenced. Like there's this one Edward Bossich or whatever it's called where it's like two middle schoolers or high schoolers that were that got like really bad grades in poetry, but they decided for one summer that they would record in a bathtub, like with like it's like feels like home recordings and stuff like that. So yeah, like there's definitely a lot of like influence, especially in that place. And yeah.
Yeah, I saw that in the music channel over in here in this server, and I still gotta check it out. But I think it would sound peak. Not in a Daniel Johnston kind of way. Definitely just for the vibes alone.
Yeah, yeah, it's like it feels as intimate as like the hi, how are you in a way.
Speaking of that folk part that we just mentioned earlier, if I remember correctly, the OCs, if you remember, Uzi and Audrey, they have some lo-fi, but guess what? Lo-fi freak folk material. You heard me right. And
Mm-hmm.
it does have a psychedelic edge to it, and I think that has something to do with Johnston's music somehow, especially with the
I
production.
heard one I can't remember what it was called though. I think it was one of their first albums I heard.
Sorry, I didn't get that right.
Maybe, but Sucks Blood. Yes, I think this is one you're talking about. One of the ones you're talking about.
Yes, Suck Blood. I think. Yeah, I remember Sam was putting on putting us on that one, and it did have that folk edge to it. A lot of the earlier stuff actually has that folk direction going. For context, Sam is this buddy of mine who is super super brain rotted on King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, and he's also a pretty big fan of the OCs. And he got me and Uzi on them. They are so good. I recommend them when you can.
I haven't heard that one. The Yeah, because I've only heard like the kind of like psych rock like OCs. I really
Yeah,
like
their newer
pretty.
stuff, their newer stuff sounds much more crisp compared to their 2000s material, especially Face Stabber. Okay, I'm not too sure about Orc though. That one's got more of a buzzy fuzz sound going for itself, especially with the guitars. And Protean Threat too. I'd say Smoke Reversers are a better example of the whole ditching the lo-fi, going for a more hi-fi production style that sounds much clearer to the ears.
Yeah.
But their earlier stuff definitely good if you want to see a more psychedelic twist on Johnston folk.
Yeah, they have so much like material, so yeah, I'll definitely check it out.
Castlemania is a pretty good album of theirs alongside Sucks Blood if you want that folk stuff. There's also another one that had like a bat and some rainbows on it, but I don't remember the name of it. It's one of their better albums though, from what I know of.
Mm.
Anyways, I kind of want to answer the question: what do you think his music resonates with a lot of artists? And well, I think why it resonates with a lot of artists is because of I think just how raw his music is. Like it's so simple. It's like the lyrics are simple, the instrumentals are simple, and yet because of who Daniel Johnston was as a person, like his background, his health, it just makes the music so much more like impactful, especially his earlier stuff. Like he was just some guy making music in his basement, and yet it's amazing. Like I'd say no one else could do music like he did, but like truthfully, like everyone can make music like he did, and I think that's why he's such a like he resonates with just a lot of people. It's kind of like Vincent Van Gogh. Like people see themselves in them.
Mm.
People see like people just wanting to make music, wanting to make art. People with a troubled past, maybe a troubled mind. People who are struggling and like they want like to find some kind of release, and they find that through the medium of art.
Mm.
I definitely feel you with that. Regarding his whole influence here, I feel like he is to the alternative scene and indie scene as Beethoven was to classical music. They both had disabilities in some shape or form, but still had that they had that finesse in their own unique ways. And they still managed to make an impact despite how their bodies were basically testing them every day for their entire careers, for the rest of their lives, really.
Yeah, like very inspiring like story. Yeah, definitely.
Indeed. And the
Um
raw aspect definitely ties in with some of the examples that I've mentioned. I'd say car seat headrest, very good example of it. Will Toledo just that initial lo-fi record fantasy, it gets the raw part across. You can even hear him speaking over some sections of the song. I don't remember which song it was, but you could feel his emotion poured out in a lo-fi production style. I'd say that's what really gets the point across. It gets the emotion down the road to the listener.
mhm. um yeah, so yeah, we kind of touched on yeah, the how it resonates, but also yeah, like what do you guys think about like the lo-fi production? Like how do you think it innovated the like the lo-fi scene, I guess, or like paved the way?
That's a trick. That's a trick question because I honestly tried doing some research into that, but like other than like some names who are fans of Daniel Johnston, Beck, David Bowie, I couldn't really find any like concrete information as to how Daniel Johnston like paved the way for lo-fi production. But I guess you can just feel it in the scene, like just in the scene of lo-fi music. Like maybe it's not really known as to how influential he was, but like I think you can feel it if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, um like you can see like people start to like embrace the lo-fi like qualities more, right?
It became more of a normalized thing in a way. Yeah. That's how I feel it really got across.
What were we saying?
as I was saying, I feel. Wait, I think I brain farted first there, but I think the lo-fi production really comes down to vibes alone, and that's yeah, it's really just vibes. And it became more normalized. That's what I remember now. It's a you didn't need to have a whole fancy schmancy recording studio session just to make some good music. You could do it lo-fi production style and do it in such a way that people like it for that intimacy, that emotion, the emotional impact that your music can have in a the way that Johnston himself carried out his music was why he was so successful at it. That he got those emotions across, got that whole raw aspect across. I'm repeating myself, but still, it needs to be said and it needs to be heard.
Yeah, I mean, it's like kind of like people describe like vinyl records as like warm sounding. It kind of like I guess like aids like so like yeah, like what you're saying like to bring you into the music and like, you know, add more emotion. So yeah, like definitely agree with that. Yeah, and also like to touch on like more of his like influence like in Austin, Texas there was a mural that was made for him in the city where he grew up, right? That's where
He
he's from.
actually made it himself.
Oh, he made it himself.
Yeah. He painted it himself.
Oh, okay. That's cool. I didn't know that. Yeah. Um yeah, let's touch on the like the lyrics. And yeah, like what do you guys think about the lyrics?
Honestly, these lyrics are so they're very simple and like and that's why I just love them so much. Just like just everything about the music is it can really just be described as that simple. And yet that's like that's the best part about it.
Mm.
It's simple and yet there's so much emotion to be had in it. Like it's so profound without really saying much. It's deep and yet looks so shallow.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think it like really like you can like tell how it like relates to I guess his like his own personal experiences like in his life like definitely like very direct like kind of yeah like simple.
I mean,
um
I got three songs from here. I just pasted some screenshots here. That one below the question there is "I'll Never Marry," and the ones on the right from top to bottom are I quite obviously "Get Yourself Together" and "No More Pushing Joe Around."
mm,
Those I feel really get the simplistic part, especially "Get Yourself Together" and "I'll Never Marry," because of how short they are. Those two in particular, with how short they make a punctual, that's the word, punctual point here regarding how he feels about himself. With "I'll Never Marry," I definitely can see why he wouldn't want somebody, coming into his life in a romantic way because he is already a very and he wouldn't want anybody to suffer alongside him because of that.
mm,
And with "Get Yourself Together," it's basically him telling himself, you got to pull yourself together and not get beat down by the bipolar disorder.
And then you have no more pushing Joe around and like once he's done like airing out his grievances, he just ends it off with like I take it all back, 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 and it's like this guy is like it's like he realized the way he just said it is like wait I didn't mean it I'm sorry,
mm.
you know.
Yeah, yeah. So it's sort of like yeah, like just like retracting his like to what he actually like feels, right? Like In,
I think so.
wait, sorry. Oh,
I said
okay.
I think so.
Yeah, like so that he doesn't like I guess like hurt people. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
So,
I guess we all have that feeling. You know, we wish we could say certain things, but then when they come out, it's like, wait, I didn't mean it. You know.
yeah, definitely. Like yeah, what are your guys' like favorite lyrics? Or like is there a specific like that really like hits home for you guys?
I like the
I
two
think the
short.
entire.
Sorry.
Sorry, you first. Afterward.
I like the two short songs on here. Walking the Count and Big Business Monkey. Those are absolutely
Yeah.
good. What about you, Uzi?
I think the entirety of "For You" just hit so hard for me.
I mean, it's basically just him speaking. So
It's
Mhm.
him speaking. It's like he's talking to you.
yes, okay. In a way, it's sort of speak singing, if you will. They have a and it's technically called Sprechgesang in German, and that's the same sort of technique that Isaac Wood era uses.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's not as like well orchestrated or well thought out as in Black Country New Road. This is, like I said, it's like a stream of consciousness. It's up off the top of his head, super simplistic, like Uzi said.
Mm. Yeah, I don't know necessarily if it's like a stream of consciousness. I feel like it's really like like I feel like I don't know. Something about it it's just like it feels really intentional. I don't know. It yeah. But yeah, like I don't know. There I love yeah, like I definitely agree with you like in Big Business Monkey like I love like the lyric big business monkey everything's money like kind of like to the corporations like kind of like it doesn't like it we don't really matter it's all about like you know the the revenue coming in
It's
for
all
them.
about the money.
Yes, yeah. And sort of he has like an issue with that. Yeah, it's a really good song and I think we should play
If
it.
you if you think about it, you could extend this into making it an anti-capitalist
Yeah,
anthem.
that's kind of what yeah I was like thinking when listening to this.
Daniel
Yeah,
Johnston based. Hello.
I didn't know. Yeah, he
definitely
knew.
anti.
I know he was chill like that.
Wait, what's up?
I know he was chill like that.
I mean, yeah, he always kind of was. Always been a anti-big business of sorts ever since this song came out on that album.
Mm. Is
I
there
mean, if you
any?
think about it, it's kind of a shared belief of sorts.
Yeah.
So, but do you want to play the song? That is the question.
Oh yeah, sure. Let's do it. Um, business one here, everything.
Expensive monkey. Everything's money.
Okay.
You'll take over the world.
Hold on, let's put it on.
Okay, wait. Just here. Now we're gonna play it.
Big business monkey. Nothing's funny. Big business monkey.
Yeah.
Everything's money. You sold cheeseburger with that cashier's smile. He runs his house like a Burger King manager.
Manager.
I love that line.
Those he knows are the ones that'll put you down. Big business monkey. You'll take over the world. And you can have it now. But you can't take it with you.
Yeah,
I always like that clumping percussion that he uses in some of a bit of the album here.
I isn't it just like it's just like tapping, right? Like that's what I'm hearing. Or like
Actually, more like stomping.
there's a song where it's like you can really tell it's like it's a stomp.
Yeah, get yourself together.
Yeah.
That's basically like get yourself together or fall apart.
No, yeah.
It's a it's a stomp clap anthem of sorts.
Yeah, I love
You
like
know,
yeah, like the song like
no, I was gonna.
oh sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna make some joke, but never mind.
Okay, I'm sorry. Uh yeah, I mean it just goes into like the simplicity like we were like headbanging to like just like a stomp and it just the simplicity of it like is amazing. Like you don't need like grand instrumentation to have like, to be
I mean,
catchy.
it has the same drive as military cadence, and that's something that Johnston likes to make use of here. It's, you've heard it on No More Pushing Joe Around. That's another good example where he uses that cadence style of vocals going on there. That's and it gets the drive going. And the same with Get Yourself Together, even though it's not as cadence based as No More Pushing Joe Around, it still has that drive of multiple voices.
Mm.
I assume were like different tracks that of his vocals that he put together, so it could sound like a chorus of Daniel Johnston clones coming together.
Yeah, I speaking of the vocals, we'll get to this but like his art in a bit. But like I just wanted to say like what do you like when I listen to um Hi How Are You like when he like sings like because on Poor You it's like he's like deeper, but like on that song like he sounds like a child. Like my when I played this for my dad like he couldn't tell if it was like a female or like a male like singing. Like it was hard for him to like I guess differentiate. And so like what do you guys think that like adds to like maybe the like portrayal of innocence in a way?
You're going ahead, Uzi. I want to hear you.
Give me a minute to think. Give me a minute to think, okay, please. Oh, how it does for children's innocence is it shows it just adds to the overall atmosphere. I think it adds to his mind. It's like it's just another way of looking into his mind, like how he sees the world or something. It's so like innocent with his voice, and as I've repeated so many times, I think throughout this podcast, that the simplicity of it all. It's so innocent. I'm sorry. I don't really know how to describe it other than just that.
Yeah, it's yeah. This one's like a yeah. It's difficult to describe without repeating. So yeah, I mean like it's sort of like yeah like it invites like all walks of life to maybe like to this album, kind of like showing that like I don't know maybe it's a stretch but like yeah like through like singing like in a very like childlike way it like helps with that.
I feel like you could see this as a coping mechanism of sorts,
Mm.
of singing like that. That and maybe the fact that he had that naivete. I pronounced that right.
Naivety or whatever how you call it.
Naivety, whatever you want to call it. He was pretty naive to the world, even after enduring quite a bit of hardship. It's still kind of there, and that childlike voice of his kind of reflects what he was feeling and his attitude towards the world at the time of recording this album.
Mm.
And there's also a level of innocence here because of that. Hell, when he eventually when he eventually got offered the chance to record and release 1990. I remember that he didn't want to. Was it on Victor Records?
Or
That he,
oh yeah, Electra or something
yeah, he didn't want to release it on one.
because
What
of
I think it
Metallica.
yeah, the Metallica situation. That
Yeah,
he was an avid Christian,
yeah
and
because
he thought,
oh
yeah, go on.
oh sorry sorry I was gonna yeah like yeah he saw Metallica as like or like I guess like all heavy metal is like satanic or like something like
Yes.
that so that he wouldn't want to sign with them, but he ended up signing with Atlantic later on,
Oh,
but I think he got dropped soon after. So yeah, that's kind of what would happen after.
yeah. In a way, that moral standing he has or had before this album, assuming that he was Christian this whole time, also kind of plays into this. The fact that the sense of wholeness in his heart, if you will, that feels pure. Pure is another good way to describe this whole
Mm,
thing. With the whole childlike essence of the album and the fact that he was a Christian, so I feel that plays into it.
yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, like speaking of like of that, like how does this reflect Daniel Johnston's bipolar disorder
So
specifically?
I think it's obvious that it was unfinished partly because of his bipolar disorder, and it really feels like a reflection onto his mental health struggles. How does it
Mm.
get is the question? I'll let you go talk of him.
All right. Well, I feel that his bipolar disorder definitely limited him in some ways because he couldn't really get like a real good job going for himself. Remember, he was working pizza delivery at the of recording, so there wasn't really that much to be made there. And if he was gonna be spending money on instruments, it wouldn't be that much. Not
Yeah.
to mention some of his older material sounds considerably more simplistic than this album here. Since he literally had less to work.
Mm.
So I feel like his bipolar disorder in a way contributed to his situation, which contributed to the lack of variety of instrumentation here compared to other tapes of his later on in a way. Even if it was eclectic sound, it's like with the stomping and clapping thing that you heard on Get Yourself Together, or what is it an accord? No, it's not an accord.
It's an organ.
Yeah, it's an organ that he uses, and he's used it a couple times before in some how was it in some of his earlier tapes. I think haven't heard everything for sure, but I do think that he did use it prior to this album, and he also had a piano going.
Mm.
He would use that especially since he had only kind of recently playing piano when he was recording this album. I think no that was during Songs of Pain that he had something going on with his so
Wait, so that was
but
after this album?
no Songs of Pain was like his very first
Oh,
tape.
okay, okay. Sorry, yeah, I
So
don't know. Yeah.
oh yeah, I did kind of get that wrong, but still not that much going on.
So it's even more simplistic than this one. Yeah.
Yeah, his tapes were super simple. His tapes in general are simplistic, but this one it's got a little bit of variety going for himself because time has passed. He's already earned a little
Yeah.
and he's able to afford a little bit more, but still not so much. And that explains the whole stripped down part of this album. So
Yeah.
it's not like a dense album, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
like Yusai no Giho by Susumu. We got samples left and right, and all sorts of eclectic instrumentation. It's nowhere near that level of. It's it's like the complete opposite of Kyusai no Giho.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. So, was he making like money off of music? Or was he performing live? Like, because I remember like hearing that he kind of gave his tapes for free, like away a lot of the times, and so hmm.
I think he for the most part he did give away his tapes, but he also did sell some of his material. I'm not sure exactly like which material. I'm not an expert in
Yeah.
Daniel, okay, but he definitely did have to sell. And also, do note that this was his first album that was released on vinyl, so there were bound to be sales coming from
Hmm.
this album in
It's
particular.
true. Oh, so wait,
But yeah,
so it was made on vinyl early on. Oh, okay.
no, it was originally recorded via cassette. Okay, okay, is that it? Cassette is for audio only. Okay, I think yeah. I'm not making. Thank God. Um,
Mm-hmm.
this all of his tapes were all recorded on cassette, but they got transported to other formats. And
Yeah.
this was the first of his to undergo that transformation.
Oh, okay. So that was like this is recent because I saw like on the website there's like reissues of yeah like this album.
Oh no! This was issued on vinyl at the time of
Okay.
around
Yeah,
the
that's
60s.
what I was asking. Yeah. Okay.
And because of that, that got him a wider audience because it was in a more distributable format at the time. Well,
Mm-hmm.
this was 1983. The first CDs wouldn't come out until next year, 1984. Born in the USA, Bruce Springsteen, first CD ever released. But that's an unrelated fact, but still, for reference point,
Mm.
I'd say that album is it's a good starting point for CD. And if you're gonna be talking about like music formats and what, you have to take that album into consideration, especially for when it was released.
Mm.
But regarding the vinyl aspect, that got his stuff into record stores more easily. Not to mention, I was checking earlier. The reason why it's called the unfinished because it's only 30 minutes long, half of the usual album length that he usually tries to are usually about an hour.
Mm.
So them it's more compact, easy to fit on a vinyl disc, and bam, easy to sell in those stores, and they were, I guess, selling like hotcakes.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, this one. I mean, it makes sense why it's like probably the most popular Daniel Johnston album because it's like 30 minutes long. Yeah, as you were saying, and immediately enjoyable. I don't know
I mean,
from the
if
get
you
go.
Kurt
more,
Cobain wore on a shirt.
yeah,
What's up?
Kurt Cobain wore on a shirt as well. I think also.
Yeah.
I'd say if you ignore 1990, since that was basically where he really started getting big after with the whole Kurt Cobain picture, and he got spotted. I'd say 1990 was at the time his most recent. People were gonna be looking for, hey, what's this Daniel Johnston record doing there? Now his old tapes, that studio album, his debut real studio album of his, just sitting there in the record store, and that's what made 1990 so big. But out of his home tapes, "Hi, How Are You" is definitely the most popular and definitely one of the best for how eclectic it was compared to his previous tapes, for the popularity it initially, because it was put onto vinyl format. And yeah, I'd say it speaks for itself.
Hmm. Yeah, and so yeah, going back to the art, he was an art also he also drew a lot. Can you expand on some of the drawings, Uzi?
So kind of like it's kind of relates to the question from the previous one. the album cover and how it's amazing. I think it adds on to the chill of innocence because his drawings. There's something about his drawings that's so like childlike. You know, like beginners drawings.
Yeah, beginner's mind. Sort of like that
Yeah,
idea. Mm-hmm.
like yeah, they're so like low quality and yet there's they feel so complex. Like this friggin' the boxer, the two boxing ones with little Jeremiah Froggy that's in the middle of them,
Yeah, look at that one.
like the muscles, stars, the head of the devil on fire. I would assume,
Yep. Yeah,
and
that's
like,
insane.
and I'll do some research before we did this episode. Like, apparently, like he also was an aspiring comic artist.
Mm.
So like that, which brings us up to Space Ducks, an infinite comic book of musical greatness, which I think is both his first and only comic to ever be published.
Oh. Have you read the? Is it like a
I
yeah?
actually, yeah, it's on Internet Archive if you want to read it. But you'll have to search up Space Ducks PDF.
Okay.
It's actually it's like about these like ducks who are like going after Satan. So I guess it's also like a dive into Daniel Johnston's Christianity.
Yeah.
I also think it's meant to kind of put some kind of portrayal as to some criticism, maybe that's how violent human beings are, because there's a lot of emphasis on like slaughtering and
Mm.
like these are bloodthirsty ducks if you read the comics.
Oh, okay. So there's a little bit of violence in there.
So there's like there's less story, more action in this comic, I mean.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, these drawings are definitely cool. I like that retired boxer one. That's one of his tapes, right? So cool artwork.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I think like a good chunk of his like album covers were just drawings by him. Like even 1990 was him with a painting. Sorry, with a painting of his.
Mm. Yeah, and the guy in the middle of on the right with the two boxers, and then there's this you call him the Jeremiah or
Yeah,
yeah
that's the
Jeremiah.
frog. Jeremiah the innocent frog.
yeah. Like, can you
Wait,
explain?
was that the no, no.
Sorry, yeah,
Explain.
yeah. Explain it. Like
So I think if I remember from reading, I think the character came to Daniel Johnston. I think he was at an amusement park and he saw the frog on a little piece of cardboard. I guess it really stuck with him. I think the frog was called Jeremiah the.
mm, okay, yeah, and that's
So
on
like
the cover here.
so it pretty much became the mascot of Daniel Johnston.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, and so there's kind of it says here the question is how does this album cover tie into this like are you saying like the tie into like the music?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like can you expand upon that?
It's as simplistic as the music itself. It's as childlike in quality as the music itself. I'd say that very much, like I said, speaks for itself.
Mm. Okay, yeah.
I'll also say I'll also like say when I saw the drawing for the first time, there's something about it really to me. It's so like simple, you know. So like I've drawn this frog a couple of times. I'm drawing this frog whenever I get the chance to, because
Eh,
it's so like it's such an anyone can do this kind of drawing. Like it's not like his other drawings where like these characters have got big muscle and they've got lines to their chest, like the Captain America one, the boxing ones, the space ducks. Like this one's just a cartoon frog. Like not even like Flippy the Frog. It's just a little cartoon frog.
mm.
Like 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 anyone can just grab a pencil, a pen, a marker, a paintbrush, and just draw that frog,
Yeah,
which
like
I think speaks volumes to like the rest of Daniel Johnston's art. It's like anyone can do it.
mm.
I'd say with how easy replicable this the Jeremiah the Innocent really is, drawing wise. That's what really makes him stick out as a character and as an album cover in general here. It's like a metal band logo just can't get out of your head. And you just can't help but just draw it. It's like the Van Halen logo. It's got the iconic V and H combo going for itself. That itself is pretty easy to draw. The same thing could be said with Jeremiah here. Super simplistic body, super simple eye stalks. It's basically a snail frog.
Mm.
And I think that helps it stick a lot with some people, especially Johnston's fans here, ourselves included.
Yeah. I mean, and then after like this, what do you guys think about like the his output in the '90s and 2000s, like sort of like 1990 and because I really like "Fun" by Daniel. Like I haven't finished it, but like the songs that I've heard like are really like good, definitely, and it has
I'll
like
say,
yeah.
sorry,
Go ahead.
continue.
No, go ahead.
I'll say I personally enjoy his like before 1990 stuff because like I think that part of his music really speaks. I think it's like why he was so appealing in the first place.
Mm.
Like the low quality aesthetic, low quality production. You know, like this was just some dude in a basement making tapes because he wanted to make some money or he wants to get famous.
Personally, I haven't heard much of that 90s and 2000s output. I definitely have heard a fair bit of 1990. I feel like it sticks easier by itself and with the other albums in that sort of umbrella in his discography, and that his home tapes are basically unmatched because of how iconic they are and the style that made them so iconic, with the whole production style and the intimacy that came with those albums. It's unmatched compared to his more hi-fi clear albums from later on.
Mm. Do you think uh like is there do you guys like I guess wait never mind whatever
Oh, no, go on.
no that's okay yeah I never mind I thought you guys were gonna jump off it's fine um yeah do you guys want to like I don't know what do you guys want you guys have any other thoughts on this album.
I can really say like he as an aspiring artist. I think it really does speak to me.
Mm. And yeah, do you guys want to play a final track to close?
Yeah,
Yeah, why not?
I think I put No More Punching Joe around on here.
Yeah, let's do it. I think it was not included.
Now
Like I guess
the best part about that song is the fact that it has callbacks to every previous song on the album towards the end. Like, it sticks in little samples of every song from before.
Oh, sorry. Okay, then no more push and track.
oh I'm saying that one instead. Oh,
All right, so this one, let's go. Wait, sorry. What were you saying? I zoned out.
Oh, as I was saying, well, this track in particular has little samples of every song that came before in the album towards the end.
Mm.
And I'd say that's another pretty cool thing that he did with this track here. Besides the whole military cadence that whole thing at the end, especially since it's sort of a hidden track, if you will, it's pretty neat, at the very least.
Mm. All right, yeah. Let's play it.
Let's do it.
Round two.
Tell you what, cigarette butt, when I get back, we're going to have a boxing match.
No more pushing Joe around. No more pushing Joe around. There'll be no more pushing Joe around. He's up and punching now. You know they used to push Joe around. You could only push him so far till he fell down. But there'll be no more pushing Joe around. No more pushing Joe around. There'll be no more pushing Joe around. He's up and punching now. He knows how to be angry now. Now ever since his nervous breakdown, everybody been pushing Joe around, and he was always apologizing. You could hit him in the face and he'd just say, I'm sorry. But now he's changed his story. He sees no glory in pain, and he's come to like the sunshine better than the rain, and he sees no need to explain. He doesn't want to play the game. There'll be no more pushing Joe around. No more pushing Joe around. There'll be no more pushing Joe around. He's up and punching now. And I'll tell you what, sister-in-law, I'm sorry I had to use your car, but you were mean to me an awful lot. You were crazy against me in your heart, and I was wrong not to tell you that. I let you go on thinking you were righteous, but there'll be no more pushing Joe around. No more pushing Joe around. No more pushing Joe around. He's up and punching now. And I gotta say, sweet angel, I love you, but you used me. You had me on a string to get your lover to buy you a wedding ring. And listen here, mommy dear, I get weak inside when you get near. God bless you for all those years, but this bird has flown, Mom, no more tears. And there'll be no more pushing Joe around. No more pushing Joe around. There'll be no more pushing Joe around. He's up and punching now. He knows how to be angry now. Yeah, man, I've got my friends. Now I've got my own friends. So if you don't want to be no friend of mine, then just stand here in this here line. Cause I can't take rejection no more, and I'm handing out the punches now. Cause there'll be no more pushing Joe around. No more pushing Joe around. There'll be no more pushing Joe around. Cause he's up and punching now. He knows how to be angry now. He's up and punching now. He knows how to be angry now. And there'll be no more pushing Joe around. I take it all back. I take it all back. I take it all back. I take it all back.
Getting acquainted with yourself. You who are now starting on the greatest adventure of your life. If you will listen with a mind free from previously formed opinions, skepticism, and prejudice. Stop and think while you listen.
All right, yeah. Wait, hold on. Pause for a second because I need to charge my computer. Oh my god. We're good. Okay. All right. Anyways, yeah. Back to it. So yeah, like I really like that song. It really like I like he's kind of like it's like him and also himself like kind of like pretending to be like a trumpet almost.
But the whole
Yeah.
buzzes, yes, or raspberries, whatever you want to call them. They're not really raspberries.
Something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I remember this. Little trivia about me. I made my own EP one time,
Wait, say one.
and I made my own little EP one time,
Mm-hmm.
and like it was very like heavily inspired by this kind of stuff, by this kind of music. I remember one of the like I ended it off by me just blowing raspberries to the tune of this like so it was like
Mm.
you know I deleted that stuff off. I deleted everything. So it's lost to time unfortunately, but
Oh,
I still remember it.
dang, we gotta get a
You
re-recording.
know, yeah, maybe one day I'll re-record it. Honestly, you could hear what's going on ahead of it.
You know,
That's
I would.
funny.
Sorry to interrupt, but I would definitely love it if you could re-record it, put it on Bandcamp, put it on Rate Your Music, and I'll review it and rate it. Honestly,
Honestly, like maybe when I get the house to myself, I'll make an attempt to do that again.
we'll
It was
lend
a
it.
lot of fun. I mean, it was very like. Of course, I wasn't good at guitar. I don't still because I'm better at it now, but I wasn't good at it now. But like back then, I was really just getting the hang of it first. So like, actually, let me try something. Excuse me. Um.
Oh.
Special guitar performance, maybe.
Okay, so this is my guitar,
Oh, nice. You got the
and
polyvinyl sticker.
yeah, the Daniel Johnston sticker as well.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I remember one of the songs was me just going like, can you hear this?
Yes, we can
It was
hear.
like, it was the other way. Because I didn't know that you're supposed to hold the guitar like this, so I held it like this.
Mm.
So it sounded something like very disoriented, very like bad. You know, you could tell this person has no idea what they're doing with the
Oh.
guitar. You know, but you know, I look back on it. I look back at it fondly, and maybe one day I'll re-record it.
Yeah,
Hopefully, it'll sound better.
I'm excited to hear it again if you come around to doing that.
Yeah, I just need like recording material.
Mm-hmm.
I need like editing software. I need that kind of stuff because like
You gotta get
back
that
then
FL
I just did it
Studio.
on Android. Because funny, back then I just did it on my Android apps from Google Play to edit my stuff like
Oh
video
yeah.
to video to MP3 converter. I did like video editing. And I just like
Sorry.
funny
Yeah.
enough like even the cover of the EP was like inspired by this album. It was just like a little rabbit drawn, and it was like bedroom pop EP.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. Honestly,
I
like
think
then we can do it
maybe I
for
have
a
the
podcast episode.
Oh
oh
yeah.
yeah, like
Actually,
maybe one day I'll
it wouldn't be too bad covering indie music made by people. That would actually be a good idea. I know a couple people around here who, so I don't think it would be too bad.
Yeah, I mean, that would be interesting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, do we have any final thoughts on this album?
Not much.
We kind of touched on everything. All right.
Basically.
huge inspiration is what I'll say. That's all I'll say. Huge inspiration.
Yeah, I I was pleasantly surprised when you guys introduced me to this album. So yeah.
Uzi put me on. Johnston got me fanboying. That's all I'll say.
All right. Yeah, and see you guys next time when there's an episode. I don't know what episodes are gonna be. It's gonna be Lil Ugly Mane, and then something else. I don't know anything.
Overdrive, heavens. Okay, no, I can't be turned.
But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and thank you guys for showing up. And yeah,
Thank you so much for having me on this episode. It feels nice to be on a podcast.
yeah, yeah. Thank you for showing up. You guys
It's
are
a pleasure
great.
having you.
Yeah, and see you guys next time. See ya.
Bye.